itself is the kind of use of technology that is absolutely not only, it's no longer an option, to be honest. It's a need of the hour, and it's something that, that has, like I've said earlier, it's actually become an existential situation right now. So I can comfortably say that we have embarked on this national digitization journey where agriculture will be on one of the top priorities, and it remains one of the top priorities. For example, within the SIFC, which is the whole of the government approach, the agri sector has done some phenomenal work. So from GIS mapping of land to tracking the farmers, and they've really done some phenomenal work when it comes to agri-tech. That's the kind of work that we're pushing for. Similarly, from the Ministry of IT, we have one of our national incubation centers that works with startups in Festabad is focused on agri-tech. So some great agri-tech startups are coming out of there. So there's a collective effort and collective commitment to ensuring that agriculture, there's an understanding obviously that it's the backbone, but how do we ensure resilience? How do we ensure that given the huge challenge of climate change and the huge challenge of sustainability, how can we use and better use our resources and technology to ensure that our agriculture becomes resilient, and the industries related to agriculture bring that resilience within themselves that is required in this day and age. If I talk about some of the comments that I've heard, I would like to, absolutely agree with one of the speakers where he says that adoption remains one of the biggest challenges of digitization. And one step before that is awareness. So awareness is something that we need to talk about. And then one step even before that comes what Dr. Jing spoke about is accessibility. So accessibility to internet, accessibility to devices, accessibility to capital. In the absence of these foundational basic requirements, none of these bigger plans can work. So one solution when it comes to access to capital, for example, last year when I was the Special Assistant to Prime Minister on Youth Affairs, we have a long-standing, long-running Prime Minister's Youth Program that started back in 2013 during the tenure of Mia Mohammad Nawaz Sharif. And till date, it has disbursed over 100 billion rupees to young entrepreneurs on very easy installments and very easy conditions. But last year was the first year when we introduced under Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif loans for agriculture. So now it's Prime Minister's Youth Business and Agriculture loans. And 50% of the lending went to the agriculture sector. And one of the primary triggers was the floods that happened in 2022. So because a lot of land was lost, especially with the farmers, and you've rightly pointed out that most of these farmers have a very small area that they're cultivating on, one flood means a lifetime loss of their, and also the future loss when it comes to their finances, economy, their sustainability and survival of their children. So that's where it triggered, and that's the kind of access, that's something, a very small part that we could put when it came to access to capital for farmers and agriculturalists, and we were able to disperse something around 30 billion rupees in that context. Then when it comes to access to devices, once again, we're coming up with smartphones for all policy, understanding that smartphone has become, internet has become one of the basic rights, and smartphone is your basic tool to access internet. So smartphone for all policy is now targeted to ensure that every individual in the country should be able to afford a smart device on easy installments. So the idea is that we ensure that the government does this microfinancing in partnership with telecom industry and with other relevant sectors. State Bank is a part of it, banking sector is a part of it. So this is one policy that will be very soon announced by the Honorable Prime Minister. It was once again his directive to ensure that every young person, most of people in Pakistan are young anyway, so every person in this country should have an access to smartphone. So that's the second thing that the government would be doing to ensure accessibility to smart devices. And like I said, this would be the baseline, the very basic requirement of the national digitization. On top of this, when national digitization works, once the DPI is there, we'd be able to have the right kind of data that is required, and then comes all the conversation about that data analytics and using the data effectively to make informed decisions that would eventually lead to success of the resilience that we're trying to build. So these are some of the things that the government is trying to do, but there is obviously much more that needs to be done when it comes to, for example, satellite imaging, drone surveillance, IoT, sensors, rightly mentioned by Dr. Ying, especially real-time data on crop health, real-time data on the kind of crops that are growing in the country. What is its linkage with our export sector? What is its linkage with our national food security? That kind of informed data making would be very soon possible. And similarly, if we talk about the global dynamics around sustainability, the requirements that are globally coming up, we have a very, for example, we have a very big chunk of our agriculture export going to Europe. So with EU's new policies and ESG and requirements regarding sustainability, it would now become absolutely essential for our agriculture sector to really come up to the mark in terms of quality, in terms of traceability, if we want to continue to export our agriculture products. And here comes technology once again mentioned by Dr. Ying regarding blockchain and to ensure transparency and traceability of the supply chain, whether it's agriculture or textile or related industries, it will become absolutely unavoidable to employ these technologies. So these are some of the things that I want to just put it out there that we're cognizant about, and these are some of the things that we're working on, but it's going to be impossible for us to move forward without the input of experts like yourselves. And I'm grateful to Dr. Abid Solairi Saab over here for convening and regularly convening meetups and conferences and seminars like these that help us as public sector entities to really interact with the experts and get that information, get that that expertise, and to understand better in order to make more informed policies, more informed decisions when it comes to the public sector. And Dr. Ishrat and I were just speaking while sitting here that for the first time in Pakistan, for example, Ministry of IT, and I'm grateful to the Prime Minister for this and the Minister of the Establishment Ministry, that we have a private sector Federal Secretary within Ministry of IT, coming from a technical background, and we also have a Special Secretary who's an expert in management and in public sector affairs, but then also a Federal Secretary to augment with his expertise when it comes to a technical subject like information technology and telecom. So you can see that there is a shift, overall shift in mindset, overall push, overall commitment to bring about the change that is required. There's a paradigm shift globally when you talk about economy, when you talk about any sector, agriculture being one of them, in terms of how things have been run conventionally and how they will be moving towards technology now. And last but not the least is the human resource that has to stand behind it. With this technological, with this paradigm shift and everything moving towards technology, what is the future of human resource that we have right now? What is our readiness to adapt to those changes? It's not that the jobs will be lost, it's just that the jobs will be replaced. But are we ready for that replacement? Are our people ready for that replacement? If our conventional farming is to move towards mechanized farming, are our people really ready to use blockchain? Are they really ready to use agri-tech? Do they understand what precision farming means? That kind of training, that kind of awareness will be absolutely key to making any of this successful. And this is once again where I would request all our international partners to step in with us, to collaborate, and bring in that expertise that is required for us to really transform our human resource, to be able to make them to adapt, to make them adapt to these changes that are coming their way at an unprecedented pace at this point in time. So that's the kind of realization that is required. Readiness assessments are required. Future assessments are required. Very interesting short story. Saudi delegation was here a few weeks back, and there was a CEO of one of these leading fast food chains who had accompanied them, and I was asking him about his family. He was just telling me that one of his sons runs the Department of Future within the fast food chain that they run across the world. So the businesses that you see growing and being successful are really focused on what the future is going to look like. And we as a country need to have, I believe, that department that foresees what is coming our way. Because like I said, it's coming at an unprecedented pace, and we really have to keep up pace with these growing, complex technological advancements that are happening across the world in every sector, in every part of our life that we're looking at. With this, I would like to thank everyone who's present here and thank all the experts for their input, and especially for the organizers, SDPI, Dr. Abid, for always engaging us in such productive conversations. And I look forward to hearing and having more candid conversations over the next few days. Thank you.